All right, the playoff pod, the final ranking of the year, right?
Final rankings, yep.
I wonder, do you know exactly what the rankings you had preseason were?
Uh, I don't, but they're actually the only ones that I posted in the message board, so we can pull them up if we're curious at the end here.
Okay, perfect. Well, I guess we'll just hop into it and then we'll get into playoff matchups. But yes, the
Yep,
final power ranking of the year.
yep. And as we can see, just the two of us. This is the playoff edition of the podcast, so no non-playoff teams are here.
Yes, none were
All
allowed.
right, and jump in. So playoff power rankings, Groundhog edition, because we have the exact same playoffs as last year. Starting off with the Pickle, pretty unquestionable worst season in this league, possibly of all time as well.
I mean, yes, but also he did stop two teams from getting to playoffs.
That's
So
true.
there was some victory, just not for really him, but and not for others. And I think one from West from East. So the he saved the West from having a 3 East 1 West playoff.
Yeah, that's huge. Got something to hang his hat on.
Got something, but yes, very unfortunate year, and a marathon will be run or a half
Yeah.
marathon.
Next up, I had Dan with the dump train Monty. Dan said it all season. He didn't believe in his team. No one else really did. The only reason that I think that he really avoided the marathon was because he got extremely lucky with Jordan Mason for like 5 or 6 weeks, basically. But his team stinks, and that's why he's number 9.
Yeah, and I mean, not much to say. Yeah, probably I would say the only year I've been through where Dan is just like from the start of the year, be like, I hate my team,
Yep.
absolutely hate it. So yeah, he knew he had a bad draft, but
He's got all the lines now, though, so I'm surprised he's not doing better.
I want to see him in the West. That'd be great to see how he does in the West. I bet he'll change his drafting strategy if he goes to the West.
I don't, but
You
we'll
think he's
see.
still just going to pick Lions?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. It is an okay team to pick, but it hasn't been working out for him.
Yeah. Next up, the surprising one of Josh. Josh I think Josh's team was better probably than his record showed. I don't think that's his accurate record on there, but like his points for were decent tier above Dan and Pickle. They were closer to the range of like Vinny and Mark. Um, but I think he was just in the East and had some bad matchups and just people that didn't quite pan out like he probably expected at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he started actually putting some decent points up near the end after a bunch of trades. Obviously, too little, too late. But I'm really interested to see what will happen with Josh like in these next few years. Can he make a bounce back? Because he's been bad for a few years
Yeah.
ever since the pickle tainted
Again,
that trade.
we might need someone to analyze like has he been good since he got married? Maybe for him the marriage curse is lasting a little bit.
See, I don't think it's the marriage curse. I think it's when he was good. He had a clear thing. 30% of his team was Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys are not good anymore. He needs a new team to have 30% of his team. So he's going to have to switch to something, but who knows
But if the
what.
Cowboys come back, then you're saying Josh could come back.
Yes, this is true, but I don't see the Cowboys coming back. Maybe Genty. Maybe if they get Genty, well, Josh will start
That's
with
what
it.
I think will happen. I think they'll figure out a way to get Genty, and then they're gonna have CD, Dak, and Genty, and I don't know how you're gonna stop that offense.
That's true. So maybe Josh just has to wait for Dallas to come back.
Yeah. All right. Next up was Johnny with the garbage. I've said it all year. This team was an absolute fraud. They lost 6 of their last 7 games to be where they're at right now. So that means that at one point they were, is that what, 6-1, 6-2? Absolute collapse. They were never that good. They're eighth in points for. They're like even behind Josh actually. Yeah, I just think that this team had it coming all year basically.
Did he actually lose 5 straight to end the year? Or like,
I don't know. I don't know exactly if it was 5 straight, but I know of the last 7 games, he lost 6 of them.
oh my goodness. He's on a 3 loss streak, so he lost one in the
But
middle.
yeah,
You were saying it all year.
Yep.
Maybe it might be the fraud detector. Your fraud detection has been pretty good, we'll say.
I'll also call out. We've seen the other ones, the other three before, but again, everyone that gets eliminated gets a little AI generated song or poem or something like that. I put Johnny's as a country song. I thought he'd appreciate that, so hopefully he can sing that to himself as he goes to sleep tonight.
I don't think he will even read it. Don't think he'd like to see. I think the trash bag. I think he's just gonna shut down the pod.
Probably. All right. Next up, we have Vinny with the doormat. Valiant effort by Vinny, taking in the doormat mentality and trying to get back into things. But then he lost the last two. He lost to Pickle, of all people, that kept him out of the playoffs. At the end of the day, this doormat truly was a doormat and just kind of that team that everyone wanted to walk over, or everyone walked over whenever they wanted to, I should say.
It's a shame, too, because, I mean, he really did have very good points for to end the year. And just needed one more win. Just needed one more win. And there were so many tight losses he had.
Yeah.
Tough year.
Yep. And Vinny's song here is musical format because of Vinny's theatrical past. So this is The Doormat's Lament from Doormat the Musical.
Love it.
Next up, number 5, 2026, Mark's team. Mark and Vinny were very much head-to-head. The father-son dynamic really can't be separated. It was hard for me. This was the hardest one for me to determine within the power rankings. They were right next to each other. Mark had less points for. He didn't do as well across the entire season, but I think towards the end, like I said, this was the one team I didn't want to play. He was really hot, but just wasn't enough to actually get it done in the end there.
Yeah. And CMC not even doing anything for him, and he was putting up crazy points. So could have been bad if he got into playoffs and CMC was oldie CMC. But kind of the story of Mark, so close but so far. So close but so far. So he thinks he can do it in the East. Bring it on, Mark.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. For Mark's commemoration speech here, I asked ChatGPT to give a speech in the tone of a black Southern Baptist preacher. Came out a little bit longer, so I'll have to throw this one in the chat so that everyone can see everything. But there's some good nuggets here.
Nice. Mark loves that. That's right up his alley.
All right, and then we get into the teams we actually care about with a couple typos here. So number 4 is Paco coming in at the last team in the playoffs. We want Austin, so him and I are going to have a rematch where I pretty handily handed him his ass the last time that we played. I don't think Paco is a bad team. Like I said, or I said this before we started recording. He had some great waiver wire pickups this week, but I do just think that out of all the teams that are left, probably the most question marks in the team that's a little bit hobbling into the playoffs from their early success more than anyone else's.
Yes, little disrespectful to put this on there. I don't think this is what he was envisioning for it, but I guess you are the person that makes the pictures. But let me say really quick, as I look at this, I see 73 points on your team from players that aren't going to be playing either week 1, they're coming out week 1, or Mix and Thomas, who are gone. Thomas is part of that 22 points. So, thing is, if you get 22 from Tyreek, you'll be ecstatic. So we'll see. I mean, this isn't actually most confident. This actually is players succeeding that aren't even on your team.
Well, next man up.
Paco's coming, bro. He's coming.
We'll see. Next up here, I have Lukey's team, playoff time. This one might be a little bit more controversial because he's been really hot to end the season. But I still see some holes in Lukey's team. Lukey has once again just fully committed to the wide receiver room. I'm sure we're going to pull up the actual teams after we run through these power rankings to take a look. But he's fully committed to wide receiver. His running backs are a little bit iffy. And yeah, I just think in terms of actual team talent, I would still have you ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought I might be third just because I haven't been able to score much over 100 the last 3 weeks. But The thing that's kind of like crazy about Luke's team is he doesn't have Nico Collins for the first game. And then I looked and it was like Neighbors, Pickens, Chase. I'm like, okay, well, he's just actually just receiver university. So yeah, Lukey has crafted the Lukey team that Lukey loves, and can he do it again?
Yeah.
We shall see.
Like, on that point, though, I think he traded a running back for Neighbors. We can check on it later on.
He did, but it was like Ramondre or something stupid.
Oh, okay.
It was a garbage trade.
Number 2 here, we have the 2007 Giants and Steve. Super hot streak to start the season, but then obviously 3 of the last 4 you've now lost?
The last 3, because I was 9-1. Yeah, so the last 3, and I don't even know if I scored over 100 in any of them.
Yeah, so obviously hobbling into the playoffs a little bit here. That being said, I still look at the team and I see a lot of star power. It's still the team that I don't want to be playing in the championship, so that's just kind of my main thing and the reason in putting you at number 2 instead of 3 behind Lukey.
Might need some defensive magic in these playoffs, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm still confident, but week 14 will be very telling.
Yeah. And then last up is myself, 11-2.
Hold on a sec here. Hold on. Go back. This is just wrong. Okay, the whole point of this power ranking was to put you 1. It has me as 1 and you as 1.
That was just a part of the typo. I'll fix it up real quick.
Fix it right now. Put me 2. I can't. It's got to be Austin at number 1 here.
I messed it with all the playoff teams here, so I'll fix it up real quick. There it is.
Can't be cheating this curse now.
And there it is.
There we go.
11-2, 9-game win streak, most points in the league by almost 100 points, right?
Yeah, because Luke's like literally the same as me.
Yep. Just dominance. There were a lot of haters all year. This team has proven them all wrong. I'll probably regret talking all of this shit and losing the first round of the playoffs again, but I just gotta have the swagger. I'm the villainous player. I'm the villain of the league, and I intend to win it all this year.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Saquon is just... if you take 20 points off of each of Saquon's scoring, it probably makes that 100 gap. Like, Saquon has gone nuclear. Dude, you got 50 points one week too? 40 another? I just keep seeing... the good sign that I look at, I'm like, okay, he can slow down, is like the amount of one-play 70-yard touchdowns has been insane the last 3 weeks. Like, he gets multiple a game. But, the Eagles look scary, and so does Austin's team. I'm very happy that it works out where I don't have to at least play him until the championship if I get there.
Yep.
But, yeah, you have been a monster, I'm not going to lie.
And those are the final power rankings. So no one can now say that I am worried about this curse. I don't give a damn about this curse. I am the best team. I will ride and die with that proclamation.
Okay, but what if... it's like an embarrassing loss to Paco. Terrible loss. Like, not even close. Will you put any merit in the curse or no?
No.
Nope. Okay.
I've never believed in the curse. People always think that I do, but I always rank my team exactly where I think they ought to be ranked if there was a unbiased third party doing the rankings as well.
Okay. All right, well, the final power ranking of the year. And then I'd love to... so you said it's in the chat, right? The last one?
Yeah, so I'll pull up.
Oh, yes, it's in this chat. Perfect. That is actually wild that it is the exact same people in the exact same order.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Probably not.
All right, so original rankings... it had Mark 10, so Mark moved up to 5 by the end of the year. Dan 9, so right where he was at. Johnny 8. He was 7, so that 1 spot difference. Vinny 7 to 6, 1 spot difference. Pickle is probably one of the bigger movers, 6 to 10. However, if anyone wants to read this later on, I basically say his team stinks, but he has CMC, so he has to at least be middle of the pack.
Yep, and CMC didn't play it down for him.
Yeah. And then besides that, the rest, so I've got Paco 5 up to 4 at the end, Luke 4 up to 3 at the end, Josh 3, that's a big mover, down to 8, and then me 2, you 1. It's just a flip-flop.
So yeah, if you get Josh out of there, you actually have the top 4 right there. Right? Josh moves out, top 4.
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually a pretty accurate ranking for all. All right. Cool.
And then we want to take a look quickly at matchups for
yeah, we'll just take a look at the matchups. Let me make sure. Okay. Take a look at the matchups. Bye weeks for everybody.
Yeah, that sucks.
So is week 14 now just going to be 6 teams on bye like every year?
I have no idea, but Vince needs to fix this.
Yeah, talk to. I mean, last year only 2 teams, more doable.
Vinny needs to get in a room with Goodell and get to the bottom of what we're going to do in this league.
In my family league, one of my brothers that's in the playoffs has like his whole team's on bye, and it's a 1-week playoff. And
oh my god. Yeah, I don't even know what we would do if we had 1-week playoffs.
Well, it's 1 week, and the championship's 2 weeks. So obviously next year I'm just going to push it back and make it all 1 week. But he was like, "Can we just delay the playoffs?" I'm like, "No, I can't do that now, but I'll do it for next year." But I feel terrible because he's literally everyone's on. He has no chance. But all right. So first matchup, is this the project? Oh, because it has the 2 points, so it's 128 technically, but you have 2. So do you get 2 points each week? So it's 4 total.
No, I think it's 2 points total across the whole matchup.
Okay. And so he's got Guerrero in there. Alan Maku. Yeah. Jonnu Smith. Wow.
Is that a good wow or a bad wow?
Look at his past games. Now,
yeah,
I don't know if he's going to keep it up, but...
It's a pretty good wow from my understanding.
Yes, but...
Those should be Tyreek points. Those should not be Jonnu Smith points.
This could be the matchup right here that could really determine a lot of the first week here. It's either Tyreek, Jonnu. I'm sure it's going to be. Now, is it going to be cold as shit in New York? Probably, right?
That's in Miami.
Oh, that's in Miami.
So
Oh yes.
They don't have a cold game again until week 17 in Cleveland.
Okay, that's cool. So that'll be we'll see how that goes. But Jonnu has been on a tear, man.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit. But hopefully, Tua just remembers that he is one of the best wide receivers in the league on his team and starts throwing him instead. So
Geno Smith, that's who you're going with, you think, for sure?
Yeah, I looked briefly at who else was out there, and I think I'm rolling with Geno. Yeah, I thought about Brock Purdy, but I just think Brock versus Chicago, I'd rather. Where was that? I would much rather still just roll with Geno. I think Arizona versus Seattle, I think is going to be a bit of a barn burner game, so I'm taking that for sure.
Yeah, Geno's just been like a wild card. Like he's been hot for weeks, and then he's not doing well for weeks. But I feel like he's solid. He'll get you points.
The biggest thing is he's been getting yards, but he hasn't been getting touchdowns. But I just think that versus Arizona, it's gonna be a high scoring game. Like neither of those teams really has a defense at this point.
Is that right? That Saquon's projected 23 points.
almost 24.
That's actually nuts. Yeah, he's gonna need Saquon to be pedestrian. But like I honestly look at his team and it's like he's got a lot of players that have randomly been hot, and he could be in a good spot, but it's a 2-week playoff, so we'll see. But
I really, again, I said it earlier, like Keenan Allen is who I'm most scared of because I feel like I know what everyone else is going to do pretty much. But Keenan Allen, like, has also been really hot the last 2 weeks, 24 points 2 weeks in a row. And it doesn't seem super random. He had 8 targets and 15 targets. And even the week before that, he didn't do great, 8 targets. Like, he's been getting volume, so this is the one that I'm most scared of for sure.
Mm-hmm. Against the 49ers team that just has not been able to right the ship.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. This one obviously, like, you have the bigger players, but you also have that receiver room, which you just don't know how it's going to go. What has Calvin really done recently?
So we had the 2 really good weeks and then midweek pretty bad week. Wait.
Okay. So that's a wild card.
Bit of a wild card for sure, but I got no one else.
Yeah. No, we'll see. Well, also, I feel like the defensive matchups are going to be big because both matchups could go either or way for the defense.
Like, yeah, for sure. Vegas and they got Atlanta.
Atlanta's been playing terrible. But yeah, all right. Well, I think this one's a little closer than the projection looks like. But he's got to survive. Hopefully, he's got to survive any 30-plus point games from your players.
Yeah, and I also think, like, to win the matchup in general, he needs to win this week. Because this is my week that I don't have Derrick Henry or Jaden Daniels. So if he can't win this week without 2 of my best guys, then I don't think it's going to go well for him when I get him back as well.
I mean, has Jaden Daniels even been scoring very good points lately, like over the last few weeks? I don't actually know. I just feel like he's definitely have a downtick in points.
He's got 2 straight 30-point weeks. Yeah.
Wow. Could not be more off. Okay, it was before that was the downtick. Okay. Yep. All right, yeah. All right, so this is matchup number 1.
Yep. And then next one up here. Okay, so they got Lukey projected over you.
Yeah.
You've also obviously... So, like, I would say, again, everyone's got buys this week, but I would say my buys are worse than Paul's, and I would say yours are worse than Luke's.
So Luke had Mark Andrews and Nico Collins really the only players. It kind of depends. If it's one of his receivers shits the bed, like Nico Collins is pretty solid. He's always going to get pretty good points. And Andrews has kind of been really, like, decent floor lately. So it really kind of depends on what Ferguson does. If Ferguson gets him points, it's going to be really annoying. I have to figure out my tight end situation because I do not think I'm starting Pitts this week. I picked up Noah Gray. Might be putting in Noah Gray with some Kansas City magic.
I saw that. I mean, hey, that's not... Last 3 weeks have not been bad.
No, they have not been. So I don't know. I just I don't know what to do there. And then Goddard had some injury I got to look into. But honestly, for me, like, what has my downfall the last 3 weeks? CeeDee Lamb and Walker. Those 2 right there that I expect to kind of, they just are not getting points. So I'm going to need some points there. And Tua is a home game. And Tua's been actually playing out of his mind the last few weeks. But
too soon to say out of his mind.
Oh, shit. What have I done? But this motherfucker, Bucky Irving, dude, he's actually scary. He's been getting yards and getting points.
Yeah, 2 straight 30 points.
150 rushing yards. Like, Rachaad White's not even there anymore. It's a dead player.
Yeah, that's a little scary, especially going against Vegas. And then, well, Chargers have a pretty good defense, but...
Yeah. But yeah, just the 2 matchups. So where do you see the matchups being after this week? Like the point difference, how close each match will be?
Let's see. I think that Luke has a small lead over you. And I would say that Paco has a small lead over me.
Okay. Yeah, I think me and Luke's game will be within 10 points. I don't really know who's going to come up top. It's just too tough to call. I have a feeling yours and Paco's game is going to be a bigger spread, like closer to 20 points, maybe even more.
Yeah, just more like boom or bust type players.
But I really don't know who, which is the weird thing. I would probably, if I had to put money on it, bet on you having a bigger. Even though, like, if you take out Jaden Daniels, you have Jaden Reed in, and I think that the Lions D is going to struggle this Thursday, just because there's just too many.
Dobbs is also out for Green Bay, so that's another.
Yep. Are Davis and Arnold both healthy? It's all about Davis.
I think I saw that Davis is in, and Arian hasn't had really any health issues, has he?
No. Well, Arnold came back from a little injury. He should be fine. I think he's healthy and ready to go. I just don't know 100% about Davis, but if they're up, there's a chance that he can be slowed down. But I just assume there's gonna be a lot of yards thrown on both teams tomorrow. So that'll be a bit. If Jaden Reed gets good points for you, it's gonna be tough for Paco to come out with a lead.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say it definitely is going to pivot on Jaden Reed and Calvin Ridley. Like, I need at least one of them to have a good game.
Also, if Geno Smith just finds a connection with Smith and Jigba, that'll be huge for you.
Oh, yeah.
Any touchdowns through the Metcalf will be interesting. You've got a lot of, like, coordinating players. Just a few key ones that are kind of, like, coordinated. But, dude, the player that, like, obviously Saquon's, like, great and all that. The player that just takes your team a little bit over the edge where it's like, oh, my gosh, there's just so many players that can score good points is Brock Bowers.
Yeah, although I do worry about, like, if he's going to keep it up. Like, they don't really even have a quarterback anymore, and they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, but it feels like that offense literally goes through Bowers. Like, I've watched a few games, seen some on Red Zone. It just seems like the receivers, you don't know which ones are going to go, but they always kind of target Brock Bowers. And he looks incredible as a rookie. But
yeah, I saw he's like third in receiving yards across all NFL players.
That's
like,
actually wild. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, in my family league, I traded to my brother when Garrett Wilson was ranked 3 receiver. I traded him for Brock Bowers.
Oh my gosh.
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good over there. So, but all right, well.
The last thing that I wanted to just call out here, a bit of a theory. We'll see if this theory has any hold or not. But as we get to the end of the fantasy season, we also do get to the end of the regular NFL season where players, like I just said with Brock Bowers, have or do not have things that are to play for. And I have a theory that has much more weight in fantasy outcomes than we have ever really thought about before. So I went through some of the the remaining 4 teams and just looked at like who has stuff to play for and who doesn't, and just want to go through it really briefly. So
okay, are you saying that the players that have something to play for, as in like a playoff spot, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So those players perform better than players that have nothing to play for.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or at least more consistent. You might have games that like they go off, but I think in general, if you have something to play for, you're going to do better. And so I just kind of compared the last 4 teams. I think Paco's was the last of the ones that I saw. So James Cook, obviously something to play for. 49ers, at least right now, they're last in their division. They don't really.
Yeah.
Then Justin Jefferson has something to play for, but Keenan Allen is out. Jonnu Smith, we'll call him a fringe player. DK Metcalf, fringe player. JT, fringe player. So, like, not a whole lot of, like, guys that are for sure going to be playing right up until the end of the season. I
think mine's probably worse. Technically not to play for. Now, what I will say is, like, because technically Kamara, not to play for, right? But the one hope I have for, like, Kamara, because you have Kamara, you got CeeDee Lamb, Walker is fringe. I feel like I have a decent like Cooper Cup. They really don't have anything to play for. I don't think they can really.
Yeah, so yours might actually be worse. So Cooper Cup fringe, Kenneth Walker fringe, Kamara done, CD done, Pitts fringe, Lamar will obviously play. But yeah, I guess you might actually be worse off than Paco.
Yeah. But the Kamara thing is they had that interim coach come in and like he's doing whatever he can to win every game. So
Yeah.
that makes me feel like better about the Kamara situation. And then CD, that's a wild card. I mean, that's the real one where it's like, I don't know. CD could just get pissed that the ball's not accurately thrown to him and just give up on a game. So we shall see.
And then Lukey, I think Lukey was pretty decent here. Lukey was actually not great either. So Burrow, nothing. Tony Pollard, nothing. Bucky Irving, fringe. Jamar Chase, nothing. Pickens has something to play for. Ferguson, nothing. Neighbors, nothing. His only guys really are Nico Collins, Mark Andrews, and Pickens.
Yeah, interesting. And then he's got Israel. Don't even know. Abanaconda.
These backup running backs, no one can even try to begin pronouncing their name.
Dude, but how funny will it be if Luke ends up winning the whole thing because Guerrero goes down?
I think I might call Luke and just quit the league if that happens.
He's got Vidal. Is that another handcuff? Don't they? Is he Chargers? Dude, they have Haskins, Dobbins, Gus Edwards, don't they?
Do they have Haskins?
Am I wrong about that?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Like, that's the fourth string. Actually, Dobbins is gone. The third string. He's got he has two players that are literally the handcuff. Luke, the system of Luke has to be studied.
Luke knows something we don't know, for sure.
But, I'm excited for this playoff run.
Last one is my team, and so this is why I have a lot of confidence going into the postseason. We have playoff team, fringe team, eliminated, playoff team, So pretty much all of my starters are at least fringe, besides Brock Bowers.
And you didn't say playoff team for Amari Cooper, so you just never planning on starting him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He finally got a target in the red zone last week, and then he pitched it to Josh Allen for the touchdown. So
okay. So basically, you're saying a lot of our teams in the playoffs don't have a lot to play for, but yours does. So you're basically a shoo-in to win the championship.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, wild stat. I don't know if you had to put like a point spread on how much that adds to a player. It's probably pretty low still. I don't like where
individual player, yes, but then when you start to compound it to say that like all of my starters are fighting for the playoffs versus like 2 or 3 for the rest of everyone, that's where I feel like there's going to be a big advantage, particularly in the championship.
It's just you're looking for hope in the most interesting places, you know. I feel like you don't need to look for hope. You just need your team to perform. Because I think if you look at your caliber of players compared to most teams, like that alone is enough. But I guess this other thing, we'll see how it plays out. It's a very interesting theory or stat because I feel like a lot of NFL teams they're still trying to get wins and stuff, but you're saying the key players just don't get the ball as much. And if it doesn't matter.
I don't genuinely think that they like really care about wins as much. Like you get the random games that are like against their rival to knock them out of the playoffs, but I think generally speaking, like I don't think that the New England Patriots are playing their heart out every single game at this point in the season. It's just like an example.
That's fair. All right, we'll see how it plays out. Do you have any final words before the playoffs?
Good luck. It was a pleasure this year, proving everyone wrong, and I hope I win the ship.
Talking a little early. I'm proving everybody wrong. Because you know that chat's if you lose the first week.
I've proven everyone wrong just in making the playoffs and being the number one team. Like, I'll show the receipts if I win the championship, but there were people that all season long said, like, I just do not believe in Tim's team. I don't think it's good. He is like way too high on himself. It was all said. It was all proven wrong.
How many of those receipts have Mark's name on them? Most of them?
No, it was pretty distributed. There's Mark, there's Vinny, there's Dan.
I'm sure I said something, right?
Probably you, but I know, like, I think Vince, Dan, Mark, and Pickle were probably the biggest ones.
I was definitely probably the biggest on Henry, and that could not have been proved wrong more. But
Yep.
All right, well, best of luck. We'll see how it all goes. And this should be the final pod. Should we even do a pod like before the championship? Probably not.
Probably not, but
I guess we'll see. We'll see after this week if it plays out where things are really close. Maybe we'll do a pod, a little short one. So, but all right, well, best of luck. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Peace out.